Hey guys, Mindset Mona here from helpingpsychology.com. I have an honors degree in sports psychology and I have over 23 years of experience as an elite level athlete. And today I want to talk to you about the importance of goal setting. So, is goal setting even that important, or can I just wing it? Well, it actually depends, because if you are content where you're currently at and you feel like, okay, I don't need any more growth in my life, I am perfectly happy where I'm currently at, I don't want to work towards anything, I'm just, very happy go lucky, then obviously that kind of person doesn't need to set goals. But majority of the people want to actually grow and get better. A lot of people want to work on themselves, or they want to, improve their business or become a better athlete. And if you answer yes to number 2, 3, and 4, which is, do you want to grow and get better? Do you want to work on yourself or your business or your sport? If you said yes to those, then yes, goal setting is definitely important. Now, how can goal setting help you? Now, before I discuss that, I want to share with you guys a story. So last year, I decided for the first time in my athletic career that I'm going to be taking off from my sport for 6 months. During that 6 months, I didn't set any goals. I, which was totally strange for me because I've always been used to making sure I set goals and having an action plan on how to achieve those goals. And that's how I would also measure my performance. And that's also how I would see if I'm getting better or not getting better. And if I wasn't going better, I could go back to the drawing board. But I always had this thing to measure my success. And during those 6 months, I just said to myself, I'm just going to train to train. And to tell you the truth, that was the hardest 6 months of my life. Not having a goal, going into the gym, basically just training to train. I still had a training program, but I didn't set any goals like, bettering technique or, working on certain movements or working on my physique or, lifting a certain amount of weight. I just wanted to see how it feels just to train. I actually thought it would be, really good for my mind to take that kind of break. And sometimes taking that kind of break is actually really valuable, because then you actually see how important mental skills training actually is for performance. And during this 6 months, I have never felt so demotivated in my life. And normally, the one thing that I could do without fail is go to the gym and train. I mean, this was me for over 23 years. So, needless to say, after that 6 months, um, I heard there was a competition coming up, and I knew I only had like 9-10 weeks to train for this competition. But that was the perfect thing I needed to get me back onto track with my goal setting, having a plan, feeling structured, having a routine, changing my habits, making sure my habits suit my goals. And that's what I love. I love setting goals. I love working towards something. And I love being able to measure my success. Now, let's talk about how goal setting can help you. So, like I said in my story, like that was also the time where I felt so demotivated. So, if you are feeling demotivated and you do feel like you need some extra motivation in your life, having a goal can definitely help that, because now you are setting a point for yourself and saying, I need to work towards this thing. And to be able to work towards this thing and not just go in and go on how you feel on the day, makes it also so much more worth it at the end of the day. Because also, when you have a goal, you'll wake up knowing that if I don't go and train today, I'm going to be, one step behind from achieving my goals. Another way how goal setting can help you is if you feel stuck, or you might feel like you are in a rut. And that's how I felt in that 6 months. I felt stuck and in a rut. And I needed to set that goal in order to get me out of that rut and just make me feel like I'm actually working towards something, like there's something worthwhile at the end of, those 10 weeks working towards that goal. Goal setting is also amazing if you want some just direction in your life, and also if you want to be able to measure your success. So all of these things that I basically listed also in when I told you about how I felt in those 6 months just training to train, like I literally felt all of these things, and that's how I realized I need goal setting. Goal setting is so important in my life, and it's also really important in anyone's life, really, if you want to grow and get better. Now, something that you might have heard before, the acronym SMART. Now, setting SMART goals, this will help you to not just go and work towards your goals, but it will also help you to achieve your goals, because first and foremost, you need to make sure, and if you follow the acronym SMART, you will be able to set a specific goal, and not just a goal. For instance, I want to lose weight. That is more a wish. And a lot of people put it out there and they'll set a New Year's resolution and they'll say, I want to start training this year. But they didn't say how many times a week are they going to train, when are they going to start their training session, where are they going to train, what time are they going to train. So those are all very specific goals, which is really important in order to achieve your goals. Then the next thing with the SMART acronym, so we've covered the S, the M is measurable. You need to be able to measure your goal. So for example, again, I'll talk about weight loss. If you know that you want to lose 10 kilograms in 10 months, you know that you have to lose 1 kilogram each month in order to achieve the 10 kilograms in the 10 months. The same thing if you have maybe a weightlifting goal or a powerlifting goal where you want to lift X amount of weight. You can say that, currently I am lifting 100 kilos, and in the next 5 months, I want to lift, say 120 kilos. You then know how much you need to progress each month in order to get to that goal. But you also know that you need to put in the effort. Okay, so it's also important to say, I need to go to the gym at least 5 times a week and maybe do one-on-one session with my coach in order to help me achieve my goals. Then the next thing that's really important is you need to set achievable goals. You also can't go and set a goal that is not achievable at all. Like say I am a swimmer and I say that in the next 2 years I want to qualify for the Olympics in weightlifting. That's not an achievable goal. First and foremost, it's also not realistic, which is your fourth point in the SMART acronym. You need to make sure that your goals are also realistic and that your goals are the same as what you're currently doing. So your habits, your daily routine. If my habits and my routine doesn't include running or cycling, I cannot say that I want to compete in a half marathon or go and ride the Tour de France, but I don't do cycling or running. So you need to make sure that your goals are achievable and your goals are realistic. Now, lastly, but before I get to the time bound, the T part, you need to also make sure that when it comes to your goals, that it's so important to make sure that you have this action plan on how to achieve your goals. And by having this action plan, you will already know what you will need to do and what you will need to change in your daily habits in order to achieve this goal. Now, lastly, it needs to be time bound. So I cannot just say, I want to lose 10 kilograms or I want to lift 150 kilograms. I need to say that I want to lift 150 kilograms by the end of August 2022. So yeah, I have put it all together for you in a nice little, like a nice little sentence of using the SMART acronym. So I'm going to train 5 times a week for 45 minutes to an hour so that I can make a total of 185 kilograms in August at the National Weightlifting Championships in the under 59 kilogram class. Like you can see there, it's specific. It's realistic because I'm a weightlifter. There's a time bound, and it's achievable. So these are all things that you need to make sure that, and it, like you can see, it's very specific, which is so important when you're setting your goals. It needs to be in as much detail as you can when you write down your goals. Now, also, I'm a big believer in inking what you think. So, writing down your goals is so important because they it's so powerful when you write down your goals. Like, it's so powerful writing down exactly what you want to achieve. So even if you are a person that don't like journaling or writing things down, by writing down your goal, it's like you are creating this um, you know this accountability for yourself. You're basically saying to yourself, like, by me writing this down, I want this to be permanent. And by also writing it down, you're telling yourself, okay, now I'm going to go for this. But when it's just in your mind, what often happens is if you get distracted or things happen in your life, you often forget about this goal. But when it's written down and you've got your specific plan of how you want to achieve this goal, it's very hard to ignore it. Like, you are going to see it. And if you aren't working towards it, and maybe you've been missing training sessions, you will be reminded of, I'm not doing the work in order to achieve my goal. Now, goal setting consists of defining specific short-term and long-term goals. Now, with the goals being specific, like I told you in the SMART acronym, you need to also make sure that you set specific short-term and long-term goals, because the short-term goals is going to help you to stay on track and be able to track your progress, and it will also be able to motivate you along the line, so that if you have this long-term goal, you know that every month, the little bit of work that you are doing, you are taking one step closer to achieving your long-term goal. This is in order to have a sense of direction and know what you want to achieve, as well as knowing if you are on track or not, and therefore you are able to then implement changes to obtain your goal. Now, a question that some people ask: what if I don't achieve my goal? Now, that's why it's so important to make sure that you don't just set these goals and just aimlessly work towards it. It's so important to frequently assess your goal, to make sure that you are working towards this goal and making sure that you are still on track. And if you are not on track, you can then go back to the drawing board and go and see what is working, maybe what is not working, what you need to do more of, what you need to do less of. And this is a great way for you to assess your goals and to see how your goal is going. And it's a great way of just showing you. And if it doesn't work, something has to change, but then at least you know. And another great way to assess is setting your goal towards, say, competing in a certain competition and achieving, X amount of weight that you want to lift, or, how fast you want to run, or maybe winning the competition. And afterwards, assessing how the competition went with everything, the good, the bad, things that you need to change, things that went really well. Those are all valuable information that's going to help you set you up for success also for your next goal. So, what can help you achieve your goal? Like I said earlier, ink what you think. When you write it down, you keep yourself accountable, and it's that sense of permanency. Sharing your goals with your family, your friends, or your coach is also so important, because then these people can also help keep you accountable. But by telling them, it also means that, like, okay, now I've told family, I've told friends, I've told my coach, and it's also so important to make sure that you and your coach are working together to achieve this goal. You might have, because if you don't discuss this with your coach, or if the coach, say, this is a coach listening to this video today, and you want to help your athlete achieve certain goals. But if you don't discuss these goals with your athlete, they are not going to know what is expected of them. And vice versa. If you as the athlete don't share your goals with your coach is not going to know what is expected of them to help you with. Because having your coach and you on the same path is super powerful. So I do, I always say, talk to if you've got a coach, talk to your coach about what you want to achieve, because then you guys can do it together. And as a team, you are stronger. Now, using the SMART method, what we spoke about earlier, very important to help you achieve your goals. And then being aware and assessing where you are currently at and where you want to go. Before you even set any goal, this is probably one of the most important things, is taking out a pen and paper, writing down, where am I currently at? Is there, what's going good in your life? And maybe what's not going as well? Or what do you maybe want to change? Or if things aren't going well, what do you need to change in order to feel better about yourself? And by making those changes and saying, I need to change X, Y, Z in order to feel like I've got more energy, by doing this, you can then set these little short-term goals in order to have, your long-term goal where you ultimately feel good, your relationships go well, because when you feel good, it also helps that confidence, and it can just be so beneficial to different areas in your life. Now also, if you're feeling stuck and you are determined to change that feeling, then goal setting is 100% for you. And to help you achieve your goals, a great way is to actually write down your goals, or print it out on a piece of paper, make it nice and big, and put it somewhere where it's visible. It could be on your mirror, or it could be in your bathroom, or it can be in your cupboard when you open your cupboard every morning, when you're taking out your clothes that you want to wear. But just making it visible helps you to see it all the time. And when you see it all the time, it reminds you of what you're working towards. Because sometimes we wake up and we have a lot of things going on, and we have things that are distracting us. So this is a great way to keep us on track. And like I said earlier, setting short and long-term goals is so valuable in order to help you achieve your goals, because the short-term goals help the long-term goals at the end of the day, and just help keep you motivated. And it's a nice confidence boost knowing when you achieve those short-term goals that you are on track of achieving your long-term goals. So basically, guys, in conclusion, depending on if you are willing to do the work and make changes to your daily habits or your routines, goal setting can be a very valuable tool to help you not only work towards something, but also measure how this something is going. And if it doesn't work, don't get demotivated, because you can also then look at, but did I still progress? How much did I progress? Did I maybe miss my goal by just like a few inches, because at the end of the day, maybe if you didn't have that goal, you wouldn't even have been able to see the progress. You wouldn't have been able to measure it. So there is still value in setting a goal, even if you miss it. And I'm not talking about a huge miss, like maybe you were working towards a training goal and you just didn't train for 6 months. And at the end of 6 months, you're like, oh, I didn't achieve my weight loss goal. Then yes, obviously, then you need to rethink maybe why you didn't change these habits, why you didn't change your routine. What is the reason behind why you didn't even attempt to work towards this goal. Now, guys, thank you so much for listening today, and I hope that this video has convinced you that goal setting is important. And like I said earlier, if maybe you're a person that is just content with life and you just don't want to grow or become better, then by all means, you do not have to set goals, but goal setting is extremely valuable. Now, guys, if you liked my video, Please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, share this video with friends, athletes, or anyone who might need to hear why goal setting is important. And then also you can ring the notification bell so that you can be notified when I post my next video. And thank you all for supporting my channel.